It took ages for Fate, the Winx Saga, to return to our screens, and we hope it doesn't take this long for Season 3 to resurface. However, today we'll be talking about the Fairies, who so have our hearts. To be honest, it isn't easy to pick, but we'll try to base our comparisons on the source material, the cartoons. We're obsessed with the show, and all the magic that surrounds Althea. First off, we'll be ranking them for sure, but here's a little note. Look guys, the series has deviated from the cartoons, and this makes us sad because it was all perfect, and we missed the fairies who didn't cut. The whole point was to showcase all these amazing beings. However, it's not a deal breaker for us, so we might be highlighting some issues with the characters, but in no way are we dissing them. Let's get to the list now. We know you guys have your preferences, and we'd sure like to hear about those. Now, the number 7 on our list is Musa. Why? We think that Musa's character hasn't been thought out properly. We love the cartoon version, but it seems like the Mind Fairy was used as an extra in the show. Season 2 highlighted how uneasy she was with her magic. Now, that's just weird, don't you guys think? She was so tired of being a fairy that she allowed the Scrapers, those magic-sucking monsters, to drain her of her powers. Does this sound okay to you? Because cartoon Musa would never. We aren't saying she's a bad person. She loves her friends and is there for them. Also, we totes ship the equation with Riven. We think they make each other saner, but her need to become a specialist is not gelling with the storyline, you know? It seems forced. And the biggest issue is how she's been stripped of her original ethnicity. Musa was an Asian fairy, modeled after Lucy Leo in the cartoons. But what we see in the show is totally different. It seems that the makers would have to do something drastic to keep people interested in this character. And if they were hoping to build a character arc, well, let's say there are better ways to go about it. Next up, we've Terra and Beatrix at 6 and 5. Terra, our darling Earth Fairy, who's always all positive and happy, creating a better world around her. While we're glad she has been introduced in the show, her character isn't as accepting as expected. Season 1 was all great, but in Season 2, as soon as her cousin Flora arrived, it was like she was another person. Snappy, rude, and extremely judgmental, which makes no sense. We get that she is going through a lot, but even when her friends accept her, she pushes them away. This made it hard for us to root for her, as we do for others. Hence, she's at number 6. But let's see what they do in Season 3. We're all for changing our opinions. And number 5, we have Beatrix, a character we haven't seen in the cartoons. And while fan theories suggest that she's part of the Trix witches, we have no confirmations yet. But man, does she rock or what? The girl is a perfect villain, but we see hints of reflection in her acts. Like the time she sacrificed herself. The fact that she is this air fairy with her special electric powers is pretty strong, and she knows it. She's sure of herself, smart enough to play both sides, witty enough to hold our attention, and bad enough to take anyone, which lands her at number 5. Coming up, number 4, and it has to be Stella. Now here's a princess, if there ever was one. She's nice when she wants to be, and mean when she deems fit. Everything depends on her mood, though she's very different from her cartoon character. Season 2 has added more maturity in how she acts. She's the Solarian princess, so she's proud and a little self-obsessed. But we see that change a great deal in Season 2. She's making a lot of effort to be there for her friends and ensuring that they're taken care of. We gotta say that's good to see. Her friendship with Beatrix is another thing that we can't get over. It feels like both of them share a deeper connection. Maybe it's the misunderstood vibe that connects them, but we'd want to see where this story goes for sure. Her standing up to her own family and not agreeing to all their stances is something that makes her stand out. And we can't deny that we've been rooting for her this whole season. How she stood up for Bloom in front of the Queen was quite brave. She needs to become a little more expressive so that her friends can understand what she's going through. But she's pretty important on our list. Not to mention the magic of Flora that lands her at number 3. While this one has just arrived on the scene, we love this fairy. She's one of the original fairies, but has been introduced just now. And while the makers had fans worried for a moment, it feels like all is good in this magical realm. She's a nature fairy, and while she's this polite little thing in the animated series, we love the force of nature she's on the show. Dynamic and wise, she's opposite of her cousin Terra, but just as thoughtful. We love how she arrived on the scene and instantly connected with the like she's been around forever. And we think it adds to her personality. The sacrifice she made for her newfound friends says a lot about her. So this one is a solid 3. There's no doubt about it. We can't wait to see more of her in Season 3. Following up, we've got the fairy of water and fluid, Aisha. She's the most level-headed fairy we've ever seen. The only one in the group who'd not get swept away with emotions. She likes to think things through. And while that may be a little slow sometimes, we think it saves everyone's necks. While her animated version is pretty different, we have to say that each one is as cool as the other. She's not one to go around looking for trouble, but when she sees her friends go after something, she'll always be there to help them. We've watched her reason with the other fairies. She's in charge of making all the plans, as we can see how smart she is. And the whole group relies on her. She isn't quite the extrovert, but she's pretty easy and breezy with her friends. We loved that she let her hair down this season and gave romance a chance. It may not have ended the way we wanted it to, but it was great seeing her come out of her shell and let her guard down. What we love about this show is that each fairy is so relatable, and no wonder the fans adore them. Aisha is a definite number 2 for us, for her bad and wisdom. Finally, we have someone who's topped our list. Any guesses, guys? We're sure you know them by now, because she's been unbelievable. It's none other than Bloom, the heart and soul of the series. Her character has gone through a lot, and it's like we've processed it all with her. So there's a connection that all the fans have with her. She's the fairy who didn't even know she has powers. She's now in a school where everyone knows where they're from, and she's just struggling in all aspects. We feel this is pretty common when you start something new, and we've all been through it. So it was easy to like her. Her character has done some questionable things, but all of it was done to connect with her past, which she desperately wants to learn about. In Season 1, she struggled with her magic, but we loved how her character was so much more confident in Season 2. She's brave, and while we'd want her to confide more in her friends, we do get that she doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. All in all, this fairy is all about learning from her past and letting bygones be bygones. She's not afraid to make mistakes, but doesn't try to blame anyone else for her shortcomings, and that's something we love about her. Bloom is a work in progress, but she's fast understanding what her powers mean and how she can control them. She never shies away from a challenge, so she is number 1. That's a wrap for this video. This is our list, but we sure want to know which of the fairies in Fate, the Winx Saga, are your favorite and why. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that bell icon for the latest information and news like this. See you at the next one!